what happened a year ago, where all of a sudden we became Team Jesus, because that's what the world needs right now.
Bro, I mean, I had an exorcism. Not even joking. Men are trying to fill a God-sized hole in their heart. Oftentimes, they don't even know what it is. And that was me. Who am I actually versus who am I pretending to be? And what do I want to be?
Everybody tells you got to grind harder and you got to work more and you got to do more. And that's just not the case, dude. That's not the case at all. You got to be present. Matt, 4 kids, under the age of 5. That's impressive. And you have multiple businesses running right now.
I'd like to think so, yeah.
Okay, tell me.
We're surviving right now.
Okay.
Am I supposed to pretend to be really successful?
No, dude.
Yeah.
You just be honest.
Yeah, dude, we're just treading water right now. It's been good. It's been great. We had a season of God just totally testing me right now.
Okay, let's lean into that.
Yeah.
Because the reality of it is, dude, I think most of us go through a season of treading water, like frequently, but we act like nothing is happening, and then all of a sudden it's like, why is he completely drunk, or why has he left his family?
Yeah.
Because he was treading water and nobody knew about it because he was too prideful to say anything.
100%. Everybody's putting on the facade for Instagram.
100%.
That's why, I mean, there's just so much freedom in just being who you are.
I love
I think
that.
that's one of my superpowers, dude. I'll tell you how it is.
Okay.
Like what's really happened. So
Okay.
what do you want to know?
Well, let's lean into who are you? So what businesses are you running? How did you get into it?
Yeah. Shut down my real estate business last year as a result of getting back into the home service business. Been in door-to-door or just direct sales and sales organizations, and eventually like ownership of the entire company the past decade. Got approached by a buddy last year, got pretty well sold on the idea of partnership, 50-50. You have to understand contextually coming from alarm sales, having done good there, leaving, I think, kind of before the big waves where everybody went to solar, and doing super good there for a bit, and then actually transitioning into owning my own solar business and getting back into travel, right?
Yeah. There's
definitely some layers to it, but, I didn't think I was going to get back into home services. So I'd started like a real estate business on the investment side, residentially. I chased Pace Morby down at a conference and said, hey, dude, I love what you're doing, but I'm not a phone guy. How do I do creative investment real estate? And he's like, you should do pre-foreclosure door knocking. So worked for a year to build like all of the systems. Just it wasn't steady and predictable. It was extremely volatile, and like these deals we would work on for 3 months, and then they just blow up at the last second. So, but I had almost built it, and this kind of tailors into like my entry back into home services, coming from a 2-year rampage of solar sales, right?
Yeah.
Did that for 3 years, and the travel was just tearing me up, tearing my family up, right?
I get it.
Totally living a double life out there. Those summers were fun, and we made a ton of money, and there's some great memories I'll hold forever.
Yeah.
But I just wasn't living in integrity and congruency. Substance abuse problem hadn't gotten that bad yet. Now, fast forward, so I did that for 3 years. They moved me out to Arizona to recruit and grow this region. Did well, but like summer 2019, I lost like 40, 50 pounds that summer. We were just going so hard. And so I decided to hang it up. I was getting married to my wife, wanted to go all in on that and just kind of retire, get sober. So anyways, came back, decided to get into solar. Everybody said I was crazy. Soon after, the whole wave followed and everybody left alarms to go to solar. And it was a good run. Helped a dude build a company. Was his poster boy for about a year and a half, and then, got the classic, equity pitch, no sign-on bonus, you're getting a special deal, the whole nine, and so I departed there and finally started my own thing. And this was like my first, really starting my own business. But Arizona was burnt, and so I didn't want to stay here locally. And so while I was waiting for my second son, or my first son to be born, because we're having babies back to back to back, I'm like, let's go back to my hometown, New Mexico. I heard, the installer I was working with said, hey, we'll give you a better red line to go, check out this market, right? They're pioneering a new market. And so we went down there, and it was just fish in a barrel. Really? And so, so we went from, I went with one dude, and we did I think I did 5 deals in a few days, and I was starting to drink again, right? I'd been sober for like 2 years.
Yeah.
So I'm like, cool, let's go party a little bit, have a little bit of fun.
Yeah.
I'd been being this, really tight, I was trying to conform to the people that I was with. The culture of that company was just a very, very high-end culture, and a lot of high level guys, but I was being a pretender still because it wasn't really who I was yet, and so I had kind of come back to my former self, which was, hey, screw it. You know what? We're going to party. This is who I am.
Yeah.
And we're going to go out and have a bunch of fun and make a bunch of money. Right. And so that transpired into me going out with one guy, partying a little bit, to over the course of 2 years, I had, 20 guys that had just gravitated to the organization because what they had heard about the market, the way that we, kind of like what our MO was as far as like, bro hard or go home. The company's name was Energy Bros.
Okay.
We had this whole, like, I totally embraced the bro culture.
Yeah.
And it was,
feel it. Yeah.
It was a poke at, smart home pros. I was like, no, we're the bros. Like, I'd always had so much judgment at Vivint, in the summers, just culturally there. There was dissension in the offices because, there's two camps over there. Right.
Yeah.
And so I was in the party camp, and then there's the other very traditional, door-to-door camp, based out of Salt Lake.
Yep.
And so end of 2023, I do ayahuasca. I'm like, this is it. I'm hanging it all up. Had a pretty, massive revelation in my home that, I wanted to be present for my kids, and I just wasn't showing up in the way that I wanted to.
Okay.
And so that was kind of the beginning of my metamorphosis in 24. And that's when I started the real estate business.
Okay.
And so did really good in that business, and it would have survived if I'd had more time, but it didn't really survive without me. And this is when I'd gotten approached by, a buddy at the gym who wanted to partner on a boat and be my best friend and split a business 50-50, and it was going to be easy, and we were going to get a private jet, and, we're going to sell it for $100 million in 5 years. And, I was just like, hey, I never wanted to go back to home services because it had left such a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah.
But, I do have to give him credit for getting me into it. And it was just such a crazy time in my life. So I come back and go to start this real estate business, goes well seemingly for a while. And then I'm approached, to start this window business.
Right.
And that's where I've spent the last year. The real estate business failed as a result of that because we launched prematurely, which is what I had tried to, tell the partner. And now I find myself, in this window business alone. A lot of the expectations that had been set there were not met. I was doing all of the work, and I'd really felt like, I'd been tricked into a situation that wasn't, the expectations that I thought that they were going to be, which, just another heartbreak. I can go on and on about, taking guys from $0 to 30, 60 grand a month and having them leave to go start another org. But ultimately, I think that window business is going to be good.
Yeah.
Just really leaning in faith. There's been a lot of transitions just here in the last month with pushing some of the bad partners out and like getting the right people in and then reorganizing all of the chaos. So
I love it, dude.
If I'm not wearing that on my shirt, dude, I sure am feeling it a lot. But alongside that, I started a peptide and hormone business, super passionate about, helping men achieve like optimal health.
Yeah.
Right. And now I'm like trying to actually build a man. Right. Yeah. And so like the different foundations, how are you, how do you treat yourself? Right. Mm-hmm. How are your finances?
Yeah.
How do you treat your family? Where's your spiritual walk? And really pouring into the guys. But apparently getting some feedback, they just want the sales advice. So I don't know if it's working or not, but I sure like to believe that, I really have the best intentions in trying to grow guys. And I think that that's a really important way, to live life and, at least for me, like to the way I want to run my business. And I hope that the people that choose to be in alignment with that, come in close and pour in. And for the right ones, they're not in alignment, and that's okay.
And then they leave, right? And it's the whole idea of attraction, not promotion. Like, you're going to attract the people that are in alignment with you. And some of the best managers or people that I've worked with, the whole philosophy has been build the people will build the business. And so if they don't want to be built and they're just worried about the business, they're probably not your people anyways.
The analogy that I've heard a lot is about ice cubes, right? And I just don't want to be in lukewarm water, right?
Okay, that's fair, dude. So the one thing that I am so curious as I'm listening and I'm hearing everything you're saying, which is awesome, what do you want, dude? Like, because right now we're in the pit. We can see the pit. We're in the trenches. Like,
dude, in it so thick.
If we look up at the peak, where are we going? Like, what's the peak? What do you see up there? What do we want?
Yeah, dude. For me, like, I'm totally letting go. Okay. And I've been saying this for a couple weeks, especially, devout follower of Jesus. I go to my men's prayer group every Tuesday. I'm so thankful, for the breakthrough that I had last year that's gotten me to where I am now.
Awesome.
And so as a part of that, like kingdom order is very important to me, right? So
Perfect.
how is my relationship with him?
Yeah.
Right? How am I taking care of my family? How am I showing up as a servant leader to the people that I've been entrusted to steward? And then, how's my business doing?
Yeah.
Right? And so, if I have to burn the whole business down to the ground and it's just me and like that's what he wants, then so be it. Right? But like my good buddy Cody Sperber put out a video today about, not missing the time with your kids and being able to like, the business doesn't matter, but so often as entrepreneurs, we justify, all the sacrifices that we're making for our family as we're missing all the memories go by. And I'm just, just punching in and
we had
not
a guest
missing
on.
anymore.
No, dude, I love it. We had a guest on in a previous episode where he was like, the way that I interpreted doing business was it was the cost of business to potentially lose your family in the process because everybody tells you got to grind harder and you got to work more and you got to do more. And it's not the case, dude. That's not the case at all. You got to be present. If you're in your business, if you're on the doors, dude, be on the doors. Get off your phone.
Exactly.
Be on the doors. If you're at your kid's practice or at his game, be at your kid's practice or at the game. Like if you're in a prayer group or in a men's group and you're connecting with God, be present. Because the most powerful version of a man is the present version of a man.
Mm-hmm.
And so the whole reason, and I love that we're having this conversation because it's very in alignment. When we started the Sell Anything podcast, the whole idea with door to door in mind, and I'm gonna just puke it out there, and you can do what you want with it.
Go for it.
But the whole idea was to put the man back in salesman, because what happens,
Amen.
like,
dude,
is you,
amen.
Well,
Just having this conversation today.
Yeah.
Be a man.
Well, here's what happens though, and let's talk about the camps in door to door in Utah. You have one camp that gets so reliant on God as they're a missionary. We'll just call it what it is. They get so reliant on God as a missionary, they learn this skill of being able to persuade people and being able to work hard. And then all of a sudden somebody approaches them on a college campus and says, hey, listen, come out for a summer, make some money. They go out for the summer. They start to say, I'll pay your activation or I'll do this. Integrity starts to slide just a little bit. Oh, I need more focus. Oh, here's some Adderall. Oh, I can't go to bed. Here's something to go to bed. And this spiral starts happening. And then all of a sudden, a commission check hits on Friday. Oh, and then a back end hits. And then all of a sudden you're like, God who? I don't really need God. I have money and I have all these things that make me feel good. Oh, I just got a Ferrari. Can't afford it, but I got it. Like all of these things are happening and they forget God. And then forgetting God, they forget their men. Their integrity is shot. And then all of a sudden they're cheating on their wives. They're doing all this crap. And it happens in both camps. It happens in the good boy camp, but the good boy camp just lies about it. They just hide it. And then it's happening in the party camp, but the party camp's like, no, that's what we're doing and we like it, bro. And then there's this weird conflict, like it's wild to me, where it could all be just stripped away if we could just tell the stinking truth.
Yeah.
Just have integrity, do what you say you're gonna do. You're not gonna be perfect, because we're not. And if you're not, then own it. And then do your best to get in alignment with what you said. And life just gets so much easier. That's the whole reason we started the podcast, is because dudes were just falling off left and right, families being burned to the ground, dudes committing suicide. It was like,
oh yeah,
what is happening?
All that.
And it's like, it all comes down to remember who God is, because if you can remember who God is, then you can remember who you are. You're created in his image. And then from there, you can learn all the skills and the strategies and the work ethic and all that stuff. But you got to put God back in the equation. So I sorry for preaching at you, but I want to know about what happened a year ago. If like whatever you can share, where all of a sudden we became Team Jesus, because that's what the world needs right now.
Bro, I mean, I had an exorcism.
Okay.
Not even joking, dude.
Okay.
Like, yeah, it was I just unpacked this recently with another buddy, but I had like the closest I'd ever gotten to like, meeting God before that was ayahuasca, right? And I always talk about how like I've paid for $100,000 coaching programs, done hyperbaric oxygen treatment, EMDR, transcranial brain stimulation. If
all
there's
of the
a
stuff.
pill or,
Yeah.
I mean, ton of hours of counseling and like, trying to fix this thing. And dude, I just want to agree with everything you said. You hit up so many different things. We could talk for an hour
Right.
on everything that you just talked about. So, but I want to unpack, I think, the most important part of what you said, which is putting God back in the equation. But what you're truly, I think, trying to say is like men are trying to fill a God-sized hole in their heart. And oftentimes they don't even know what it is. And that was me, right? So my God-sized hole probably started in middle school, come from a humble background. And money was always a validator for me, right? Wanted to spend more time with my dad, love my dad, but just needed more influence from my father. Experienced a ton of rejection from kids at a really nice middle school that I couldn't afford to go to, private Christian school, single mom, teacher, did the best she could, and love my mom to death. But, she's, we still work on communication skills and awareness. And there was things I was sharing with my mom at 13 years old where I'm like, Mom, I don't think we should be telling the cashier at Subway that, right? And so, just this childhood where I just had to really learn a lot of hard things on my own. And so that shaped who I was, right? Yeah. And so all of the unworthiness, all of the shame, all of the guilt, right? Those are all the things that I experienced because my dad, not spending the most time with me, right? And that's like putting it, my dad did the best he could. So did my mom. I love them to death. Yeah. Right. But I'm still the child that had that experience, and everybody has an experience and everybody has trauma. So it's just about identifying what that trauma is, the hole that it created, and how you're trying to fill that hole. Right. And all the things you named from, the Ferraris to, to the girls or the drugs or the money or whatever it was. I mean, I experienced all of those things trying to fill something. Right. And being a high producer and a guy that's clinically diagnosed with ADHD, I already probably have some kind of dopamine deficiency, right? Where I really enjoy dopamine. So any way I can go get that, right, to feel good and to stop the chaos and to feel that something inside was what I would chase, right? And so having chased everything, right, including the ayahuasca, which is the closest I had gotten. Yeah. My wife and
I've heard a lot about plant medicine. People love it.
It's good. Yeah. I mean, and I was joking with my wife that, we're going up to Sedona, which is where I had my, individual shaman retreat a couple years back with some friends, some Christian friends of ours, go to church with us. And I was like, we should do some ayahuasca up there. And she was like, wouldn't that be weird? I was like, it's a plant. I was like, and if we're listening to worship music and we're doing it with the intention to be closer to God, I don't think that it's wrong. If we're trying to abuse it, and I'm not really promoting that, but I was just saying it was cool. It was a really good experience, and chemically it made me feel very complete. Very healed, right? If you ever have dealt with anxiety or anything, and you put your hands on your chest, it just kind of takes that, Yeah. Have you dealt with anxiety?
I don't know. I think that my ego would say no, but I think if I was honest about it, there are moments where I sit there and I'm like, holy crap. And you're right. If you just can ground yourself in your breath, you feel way better.
Well, when you put your hands on your chest, it helps.
I agree 100%. So with honesty being the foundation, and that's where we're going from.
Let's go.
What do you want, dude?
Dude, that's what I was saying. I mean, if God breaks this business down and it's just me, right? I just want to be happy. I just really want to start enjoying the time with my family and stop being so fixated on, the financial gain, because my wife's called me miserable a couple times the last few weeks. Again, dude, the waves that the grenades I've been taking in this business and some of these relationships and betrayals that I've, felt very passionate about have been hard for me because I'm a very, emotional, empathetic person. And so that has something to do with it. But also, I thought I did some inventory and, I'm like, if we were doing better, revenue-wise month to date, would I be happy? And I'm like, of course. And I'm like, well, I got my health. Yeah. Got my family. Yeah. I'm safe. We have, plenty to get by. I'm like, so why when I have everything else am I unhappy? Because I'm attaching it to the one thing. So that is the thing that is controlling my happiness. And it was eye-opening for me. And so what do I really want? I really want to be happy, but I'm still going each week and laying down and, my prayer group, God, I surrender, I submit, take this from me. Right. And so I think that's what he's doing. I'm just in the refiner's fire right now and trying to get comfortable with that. Right. So I ultimately, dude, do I want to sell my business for 9 figures in 5 to 8 years and be able to retire at 45, which has always been my goal, and be able to take my son to go professionally ride dirt bikes, on a national tour bus, or, just be able to pour into my kids at home, or whatever the case is, buy our compound, build a big, family area in the back where everyone can come stay, and warehouse over here where I can do men's work and purpose-filled living, for sure.
So what are you letting define you and control you now?
I'm just walking in surrender, dude.
I like it.
I mean, fighting those temptations, right? But just waking up each day and getting on my knees and trying to struggle to read the good book, which makes no sense to me. And I try doing it just I'm like, dude, I'm just doing the thing. I'm putting in the quiet time. I am praying. I had a guy in my prayer group recently tell me something that was super impactful. And when we always go through our prayer group, we have new guys each week, and we talk about the format for how to pray. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that you do is you listen to the guy, right? And then, whatever the Holy Spirit puts on you, you share, right? And they're like, even if it sounds weird. And so this guy shared, he's like, and just don't speed through the school zones, Matt. And he was talking about an analogy of my quiet time. Because I think for a lot of guys that are trying to do that, it's like, okay, cool, read the chapter or spend the time and get through it as fast as you can. And so recently a buddy of mine said, read the book of John, go through it slowly. He's like, just a verse at a time. And so I'm doing about a chapter a day, but I'm just sitting in it, trying to understand it. I still don't understand it. I'm not getting a ton, but I'm doing it, and I'm checking the box, right? And hoping that there's some breakthrough there, right? So that's how I start my day. The school zone thing I thought was pretty cool because obviously I slowed down and listened in my quiet time, but there's this school zone right by my office, right? That every day, dude, I take it 40 through there. It's a 15. All the kids are fenced in. I have a massive monster truck, and the teachers will yell at me across the fence, or I'll get looks, and I'm like, I'm busy. I got stuff to do. There's nobody around. I'm not hurting anybody. But I mean, it's technically breaking the law. I'm a rule breaker. That's who I am, right? But I can always justify it. Yeah. But dude, I've started going the speed limit in that school zone. And every day now when I get to the school zone, I think about slow down, and I pray right before I get to my office. And so it's this cool, and it's just stuck with me. So I start my day, by praying and having that quiet time, and then, just trying to surrender my day and just do the next right thing.
Awesome, dude. I like it. Okay. Can I share something with you?
No.
Okay.
Of course. Yeah, I'd love it. Dude.
Okay. Diving into the word every day is huge. And if you dive in with the intention of slowing down in the school zone and getting something out of it, but there's a tiny little framework that I use.
I'd really love to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, the framework is awesome. So I'll just I won't take a whole chapter. I'll take 2 or 3 verses, and I'll put them into my notes, and I'll say, okay, what do I see from this? And then I'll dissect a lesson out of it that's pertinent to me for what's happening today or happened yesterday, or to move me down the path a little bit further. What are the lessons? This is the lesson on faith. This is the lesson of what he said. This is what the words actually say. And I dissect the lessons out of it 3 or 4 times. I literally will write C1, C2, C3, C4, and then not C4, the pre-workout. Great stuff. You probably have surpassed that.
Oh, it's weak.
That's old stuff.
Rookie.
It's
good stuff. The original blend.
The original is incredible. But so you get all these C's, right? And then I come over here and I say, okay, from what I've read and what I see, what does God want me to stop doing? And then I remove the crap that isn't working, that's not serving me. Okay, because it's his word, right? And he's going to speak directly to me if I'll slow down in the school zone and I can hear. And so what does he want me to stop doing? What does he want me to start doing? And then what does he want me to sustain doing? And I'll take those 3 S's out of it. And then I'll have that down in my notes. And then it's not only in the intention of studying and being slow in the school zone, but then I can take that intention and I can put it into action as I roll into the office, or as I come into the room with my kids, or I have an interaction with my wife. I can take what I learned in the school zone and put it into the field.
It's good to remember it and review it. I always tell guys to take notes in the meeting, but I should be better at notes in my quiet time. That's good feedback. I will say, in the book of John right now, where God's just going over, John is going over Jesus' testimony, and he's just talking about this prostitute that he saved, or I am the way, the truth, and how he's talking to the Pharisees. I'm like, how does that apply to me? Right. Or like, I started out in Genesis earlier this year, like everybody does. So I was like, I'm going to read the whole Bible. And I'm like, I'm really intrigued by the history here, but I'm still not getting a lot of practical application. Like I can live in Proverbs. Right? I'm like, Proverbs is gas.
James is gas.
Yeah. And then, like all the letters like Philippians, Corinthians, all of those. And so, but yeah, it's tough to get something out of it a lot of days. But dude, I'll totally take your advice. Take some notes on it and see what's working, what's not. It's just taking inventory.
But if there was one lesson that you could distill out of all of the times that you rose from the top to the car dealership, to the windows, and everything in between, what is that one lesson? Like what's that one lesson if you could just open a dude's head, put it in there, he's going to go out and crush it?
I genuinely care about people, right? Like there's definitely the lady, who lives alone and is lonely and will just talk to you forever. Yeah. And like you have to like time cap that, but like you can, like I've talked about this in other videos. It disgusts me when I watch or shadow a door guy and they determine somebody's a renter and they just turn and run away from the door or just walk away or they just have such a rude or, demeaning disconnection with them. It's like, oh, cool, you are not valued. It's so clear that they aren't valuable, right? Versus like, oh, no worries. Like, sorry, we can't help you out. This is actually what we're doing, but I hope you have a nice day anyways. Thanks for taking the time to open the door. Yeah. Like, just like a softer, like a genuine, like, hey, that's okay. Wish I could help you. This is what I am doing, just in case you're curious, right? And, hope you have a nice day. Sorry to bug you. Right, just being a human. Okay. But then for the people that actually like, you'll have the lady who like they're in financial distress or they're in like health distress and they're like, yeah, we do want this, but it's just not good timing, right? Yeah. And like just sitting with them for a minute, understanding the timing, not pushing the agenda, taking a second to ask what's going on and then care a little bit and then, empathizing with their situation and moving on.
Okay. I love it. So you've already said it in the podcast, or in this episode. And all three things that you said tie back to it. Because I really genuinely think that it is the key to being able to train people, or being able to have success at any level.
You better not say caring about people.
No.
No, because I care so much about everybody.
No,
it's my biggest Achilles heel. I care too much. Okay. That's good, but then it will bite you in the butt for sure, right? Yeah. Because you cannot care more than the other person cares. Like that's a valid principle.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't want it more than they want it for themselves. I have totally realized that.
And then because then you're super sad.
But that comes back to ambition. How bad do they want it?
Okay. Ambition is valid. Hard work is valid. Empathy is valid. Problem solving is valid. Well, I'm just going to tell you. Can I just tell you? Because you already said it.
Dude, that's my communication style.
It's the one thing that you already said.
Don't need the sandwich. Just give me the meat.
It's the one you already said, the meat, dude. It's truth, dude. Because you're so authentically in alignment now and you're not trying to hide anything. Yeah. Then you're not going to hide if you can't solve someone's problem. You're not going to lie if you're not empathetic because you can't relate to them. But if you can just teach that to your guys, to just tell the freaking truth, then they're going to close so many deals because your whole team runs on integrity.
But here's the issue. I mean, like, I love saying what somebody's thinking, right? Like if they, you've probably, been taken advantage of before, like had a bad experience with a sales guy, right?
Overcome the objection before they can give it.
And I'm sure you're probably thinking that I'm probably like, a fast-talking white guy, especially if it's like a Hispanic customer or something. But like, I promise you, this is a good deal for you. And like, this is why, right? And then like, just like, they're like, wow, like he said exactly what I was thinking. And then I'm just really honest about the way they're feeling and like what my angle is. Like, hey, and like, here's what's in it for me. Like, we do make commission here, right? And like, I will make money on this, but there are benefits for you and they're this. And I want to quantify that value for you. And as long as I can quantify the value for you and it's good for you and it's good for me, then there's a mutual exchange of value and we can have a transaction.
Dude, that's good coaching right there, dude. You're just teaching.
I say it all the time, but guess what? I'm so truthful with my guys, I hurt their feelings. I'm like, then
they're not your guys.
Amen.
They're not your guys.
Amen.
Like if you're being 100% honest with them and they can take that truth and run with that truth, they're going to sell lights out.
Dude, cleaning up like the whole ops system was a mess. The accounting thing has been better than a mess, but still, a little sloppy.
But being decisive and having to make decisions is leadership.
Yeah.
So maybe that's it, dude. Get right with the creator. That's how you sell someone on themselves. The whole idea of sell anything, and Brady and I had talked about it quite a bit, was, again, just to put the man back in Salesman. But how can you be a man if you don't know who the hell you are? And the easiest way to get to know who you are is to know who created you.
Yeah.
And if you can know who created you and that you're created in his image and likeness, and there's an unwavering belief that he wants you to win, just like you have your boys and your daughters. You want them to win. 1,000% you want them to win.
100%.
And so God, in my opinion, God is no different. God wants us to win.
Right. Figuring out like what that is. Like, who am I actually, right? Versus who am I pretending to be, and what do I want to be?
Yeah.
And then figuring out like what you need to do to get there. Like, what you need to do to be in alignment with that person that you actually want to be. And I'm kind of like the steps that you gave me for the study, right? And then what do I need to cut out, right? And what do I need to sustain? Right?
That's huge.
Yourself.
Yeah, no, it's huge, man. I love that. I think where truth is, God is, dude.
Yeah.
And with God, all things are possible. Like, I genuinely believe we are limitless and we can do whatever we set our minds to, but we got to get the crap out of the way.
Yeah.
And the crap are just things that take us from God. And so that's exciting, man. I'm pumped for you on the window side. I think you're going to crush it. I think 10 figures is doable.
Bro, I hope so. And
9
if not,
figures.
dude, there's probably something better lined up.
100%.
Maybe our peptide business is crushing it right now on the side, and so maybe that's the move. Who knows? But
peptides is flourishing right now, dude. There's a lot of money to be made in peptides. If you guys enjoyed the conversation, like, subscribe, do the things that you do, and watch for Matt. He's about to take over the world. Make it a great day.